like going back to the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That is Teresa Edwards, the only five-time Olympian, um, the only person that's a five-time Olympian in our country. Thank you, T, for that awesome introduction. I'd like to thank Multiplying Good and the National Jefferson Award Committee for this great honor and recognition. I would also like to extend congrats to all the winners that will step forth on the court. Owen, you were great. I can't wait to hear about the other recipients. In truth, receiving an award like this makes me feel uneasy. Uneasy may not be the right word. The best way for me to describe this feeling is how one feels occasionally when raising teenagers. My niece and my nephew lived with me while they were growing up, and whenever they did something that they were supposed to do, they won a reward. So, if they cleaned their room, I'd hear, "I'm doing." I cleaned my room. Or, "I'm doing." I took out the trash. Always said in a tone of expectancy, to which I replied, "You know you don't get rewarded for something you're supposed to do, right?" That's how I feel today. I'm supposed to be of service in my community. And I'm often asked what motivates me to serve. And I have a quick story. As was mentioned in my introduction, I grew up in North Philadelphia in a housing project. I was actually raised from birth in that housing project. So life there was all I knew. The project had 5 big apartment buildings that acted as a backdrop for row homes. I lived in the row homes. Adjacent to the houses sat an empty, open field. The field was full of weeds, rocks, and glass, so neighborhood kids often played in the middle of the street. When you're under-resourced, you're really creative. So we made makeshift football end zones, and we made basketball hoops out of abandoned wood and crates, then affixed them to a pole, and a good game got going. We did so for many years, but when I was 8 years old, I woke up one morning to the sound of loud pounding. I looked out the window to find a bunch of trucks and men working in that empty field. And what felt like overnight, the empty field was completely transformed into a beautiful football field that lay perpendicular to a full court basketball court. I picked up a basketball that very next day, and I never put it down. The day I was leaving for college, I remember taking in the neighborhood in its entirety one last time before driving away. I saw the enormity of the buildings and the manicured lawns of the houses. I saw the normal commotion of a neighborhood with people hanging out in the streets and on the corners. And I knew things would be the same when I returned, but through basketball, I at least got a chance to get out. As we slowly drove to the stop sign that sat in front of the court that became my safe haven, I remember the excitement of being that 8-year-old girl on the court for the very first time. I took a deep breath and thanked God for whoever thought to put a basketball court on that lot. Philadelphia is a political city. It was even more political back then. So I knew building out a recreational space for kids in the Raymond Rosen housing projects was not a political priority. I also had a gut feeling that it was one of the women in the neighborhood who relentlessly called the city and pushed through all the obstacles to get that space realized for us. Whoever she is, She has no idea how our act of service completely changed my life. And as a result, the lives of my family and so many others I've been able to help. I've always understood that it's only by God's grace that I've been able to live this life, that I found basketball, and that basketball secured my livelihood. I believe the repayment of this divine debt is what I give to others. So, I give what I received, a chance. My after-school program, housed in the same projects which I grew up, gave hundreds of girls a chance to find passion, a chance to grow academically, and most of all, a chance to feel safe in a community full of chaos. And now through Inner Soul, we are continuing to impact children in need throughout South Carolina with the gift of sneakers. It is our way of instilling self-confidence in them and putting them on a level playing field with their peers. The biggest joy in receiving notes is receiving notes that they can run faster, and the fact that this is their very first new pair of sneakers. Perhaps the component of Inner Soul that gives me most pleasure is our Educate My Soul initiative that rewards new prize sneakers based on academic competition in low-performing schools throughout the state of South Carolina. I'm proud to say that each school that has participated has achieved sustainable improvements in reading comprehension, attendance, and behavior. And since 2013, we have given away over 25,000 pairs of new sneakers. There is no better feeling than a new pair of sneakers. They truly can change your life, and of course, a confident kid can do anything. I don't believe service has to be a grand gesture, nor do I believe to make a huge statement. I believe it has to do with what's from your heart, and I often wonder where I might be had that neighborhood woman not cared enough to fight the battle of bureaucracy that led to the discovery of my passion. I'm evident that you never know how your act of service will impact someone. But what I do know is if you do nothing, you impact no one. And that's not why we're here. So although receiving this award makes me uneasy, I'll happily accept it because I'm supposed to. Thank you.